Good afternoon. My name's David Castle. I'm here to talk to you today about ethical leadership, fad or solution. I'm part of the 2013 cohort for the Executive MBA at Birmingham City University, and we've been writing a journal together, and this was my chosen subject. Today I'm going to talk to you about what ethics are, on 2 points on ethical theories, how leadership can affect others around them, and how leadership styles are particularly linked to ethics. I'm going to look at 3 particular authors, and then I'm going to draw a conclusion to answer the question: ethical leadership, fad or solution? Let's look first at what are ethics. They're moral standards and values that we all hold dear. It's the way we conduct ourselves, the character that we've built up, perhaps from our childhood or our working life. It's about doing the right thing, knowing right from wrong, showing a duty of care, and doing what's good. Ethical leadership. How is that affected? Well, it's their actions, their decisions, and their behaviour, and how it affects all the others around them. Ethics in business has been around for such a long time. In the 17th century, the Quakers actually introduced ethics into business. Companies, household names such as Cadbury, Clark's Shoes and French Providence all brought in what is now called perhaps corporate social responsibility. There are 3 ethical theories. The teleological approach, which looks at ethical egoism, utilitarianism and altruism. We're going to look at these 3 individually. Ethical egoism is where leaders are designed to obtain the greatest good for themselves. And in given circumstances, we generally like to feel the same emotion as others around us. And that the emotion of approval of our decisions is enhanced by what we believe that others see as either pleasant or useful. Utilitarianism is where the actions of the leaders are hoped to obtain the greatest outcome for not just themselves but a large number of people. An example would be, given action increases the level of feel-good factor within an organisation insofar as it increases the total level of well-being. Perhaps the highest level of happiness to the greatest number of people who are affected by any given decision. Altruism is where the leader's actions should demonstrate concern for all others' interests, even if it's not in the interests of the individual and the leader himself. This may be where we see our moral obligation that can override all other conflicting aspects. Deontological approaches is where something ethical is not only dependent on its outcome, but also on whether the action taken or the conduct or behaviour is inherently the right thing to do. Being truthful, being fair, and making a decision to act on duty and keeping promises. Virtue-based approach is often where leaders' character and their beliefs are built up into their makeup. These are virtues often learned through experiences during their life, their family life, their working life, and perhaps the society background that they come from. Ethics and leadership Decisions that affect followers and have a dilemma of affecting everyone and setting moral standards. That's how leadership and ethics are linked together. We're going to look at the individual styles of leadership and how they are linked to ethics. I've chosen 6 here. Transactional leaders. They often mirror a utilitarianism perspective. They often protect their own interests and treat others around them as a means to reach their own objectives and their own goals. And transactional leaders generally focus on the profits of a business and the transactions, and therefore is seen generally as less ethical than maybe other types of leadership. The next one, directive leadership, is often linked by expectations, socially and culturally. Whilst directive leaders are considered to be the norm in many societies, it is very easy for these to become dictatorial leaders, and potentially ethics can become neglected. Charismatic leadership is where the leaders use their charisma at the forefront of their style of leadership. They attempt, therefore, to look at all aspects of ethical questions within the organisation in which they are, by entering into discussions with their subordinates. They attempt to weigh up decisions on their previous experiences and rely on their existing knowledge, and have a great sense of team building in an attempt to potentially gain a large number of followers. Ethically, they can potentially become narcissistic when their self-absorption or their need for admiration can potentially become too great. The 4th leadership style that I've looked at, transformational, can be closely linked to charismatic leadership, but they tend to be focused on protecting the group interests and reaching a common goal. They attempt to create trust using their enthusiasm and their passion. They can be linked to ethical theory, the deontological, as they believe the better decisions they derive are based on doing the right thing. Their ways and their actions can often be flawed, though, because by definition they attempt to transform something that may not need transforming, and therefore can become frustrated. Shared leadership can be closely linked to utilitarianism. I wish some of the others weren't linked to this, because it's a very hard word to say. In sharing tasks between various people, they aim to reach a common goal for the greater good of the organisation. They tend to consider how their actions affect others around them. Shared leaders tend to believe that they can achieve more by all working together to a common purpose. The last one of the 6 is authentic leadership. Authentic leaders are probably the closest linked to ethical leadership. They generally have a very rich moral fibre and have strength of character, but encourage and empower others to achieve self-actualisation. They attempt to reach ethical decisions by using the qualities and the experiences from within the group. So that's how the different leadership styles are linked to ethics. The 3 authors I looked at, Greenleaf, Burns and Heifetz, have fairly similar views on ethical leadership, but some subtle differences. Greenleaf stated that to build new ethics, there is no need to reinvent the wheel. There are thousands of years of moral history to build upon. He believed that ethical choices are not straightforward, and that we have many things in our lives which can affect how we behave. Burns very much believed that transformational leadership was helping followers assess the responsibility, and he highlighted on 3 particular aspects: liberty, justice and equality. Heifetz studied and observed world leaders and said that utilising authority for tough issues normally brought an environment for trust. So in conclusion, this is no fad. Ethics and business has compatibility. It's been around for a long, long time. Top ethical businesses do tend to be profitable. There's been a lot of recent bad press for things such as companies' tax avoidance, child labour, environmental issues, and unsafe working conditions. Perception to all of us is about doing the right thing. And that's why I believe this is no fad, but a solution to most businesses. I've put 1 or 2 references there, but then I'd really like to refer you to the website after thanking you